that we're looking at F4 and we're looking at Exodus's defense, they certainly made the change with Galaxy introducing him as the COD infantry, which I think would have been better last game. But
I don't
unless they're
think
just
they had
working
a
on getting some
chance.
play time.
I just reckon that, being first game up, it's like, okay, things aren't working out for us, we're on the back foot, but, they didn't really have an opportunity to sort of make any changes with how much pressure they were under. They did hold on for, I mean, as long as anyone could. That was a strong O. And, it was rarely 5v5.
No, and I
I
agree
think they
with
might have
that.
just said, let's stick to our guns for this game, we'll play it out, see how we go, and then we'll try and, come back, make some changes that we feel we have to. But for now, let's just get through it, try and hold on as long as we can, maybe win the 10-man, who knows.
Yeah, I agree. Certainly once you're in the game and you're kind of under fire and maybe there's so much pressure on a 9-man offense against your base that it may not be an ideal time even to have a 5-second switch out between players and things of that nature.
Mm.
But I would chalk a lot of the issue up to planning pregame, and just acknowledging that if we're in a position where we've got two infantries defending A7, neither of which can caw, we're doing it wrong. We've got to find an alternative. Like that should have been resolved
It's
in the planning phases prior to the game even starting.
kind of a tough spot to be in as well, having two games first up, like being that team that has to play twice, because if you do
True.
get that loss, which they got, it's hard to go into the second game. I mean, granted, the team they beat was probably the best lineup in the whole league, so maybe they can take a bit of confidence out of that. But it's still hard coming off a loss, all that just the pressure of knowing you have to play twice, whether you win or lose the first one. Like, I don't know, I think any team would struggle a little bit more than just having that one-off game.
Yeah, I agree, and I also think that it's not only just a loss. A loss of what they just went through can almost be more demoralizing than like a
Hmm.
4 or 5 minute loss when they're in this game for 35, 40 minutes, whatever it ended up being, but they spent most of the game playing relatively uncompetitive play for that period of time, and that can
Just
even
trying to
be
stay alive,
almost
basically. Yeah.
exactly, and I think that can be even more demotivating than a fluke 5 or 6 minute loss because some JT randomly flagged your base or you accidentally
But
cleared yourself, something along those lines.
on the other side of the coin as well, like that type of pressure, maybe going into the next game against a team that's not quite as aggressive, not quite as, you know what I mean, strong, let's say, it might benefit you. You might easily get that second win because you've just come off a loss against a really like pressuring side. You're under the pump the whole time, never lets up. Like, you get used to that rhythm, you get used to that timing, and then all of a sudden you come up against a team that's just not quite there. Might be a benefit.
Agreed, and I think the previous lineup they played against, the offense was a little bit more formidable. Here they've got RR Chucky, they've got Attempt. Sergeant Ketchup is certainly an up and coming player, still kind of
He
learning
knows what
the
he's doing,
the
yeah.
the aspects of competitive CTF play, even though he's been around for a while. And so that should certainly help Axie's team be a little bit more competitive on the defensive side. But I think they made the most important improvement, and that was introducing a COD infantry to their D heavy offense or D heavy defense.
Mm. And we go on A5 this time as well, as opposed to the A7. Maybe they think that... Well, these guys
BDST
don't really
has
have the heavy, do they?
BDST has offensive turrets already too. They have an NG on offense. I think it's to protect
Which,
Doris from
yeah,
what
it's
ZMM is
a
saying.
it's a good play. Exactly. Yeah, it's a good play to provide Doris a little bit of relief, and that
Oh, he
also
must
means
be
he can
under so much
support
pressure
ED a
right
little
now.
bit better.
He must be just sitting there going, fuck this, what have I signed up for?
Now, I'm not too familiar with Zeloy or Zloy. Somebody said that they believe that was Shock Tarts, or maybe that's somebody else. But
Oh, there's
I've seen,
speculation about it.
yeah, I've seen Zloy play in a couple mixes, and they seem like a very, a competent player. They clearly aren't brand new.
No, no,
So if it is Shock Tarts unfading, I could see that.
he's from SK. He was in USL.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Played on
it's
Suicide Squad, I think.
it's like Shock Tart's friend's boyfriend.
Roommate or
From what
something,
I can,
I think.
yeah, from what I
Okay.
can gather.
Okay. Okay.
Him and
I
his
think he's a
partner play
highly
on here.
troll. Nobody like significant, I don't think. Just probably somebody who played. He doesn't want to play in that name again.
Sure. Sure.
Random, I guess.
We don't know.
Ooh, good job
They
attempt
seem
though.
like a decent player. They're competent.
Yeah, and then looking at, I believe this Cook that's Head's team, correct? Is that Head's team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and looking at his team, the defense is pretty solid. Certainly held up by GT and Plaps. It's good to see Plaps back in the game. He's been around so long, won many championships on BDS. He's primarily known as that Uber, I'll say that Uber mining engineer style play, but
Got Mites on
which is great
OJT as
for
well.
an aggressive medic to be partnered with GT. And I am curious about the Mites OJT. Not too
Was
sure how
that
effective
a
that is,
team
but
choice or was that a Mites choice? Because we all know
yeah,
how he gets sometimes, you know.
excellent
Well,
question. I'd be interested to be a fly on the wall in that Discord channel right now to see if
it
everybody's
was
getting along or if it's
They got
a
the heavy
healthy
there as well,
conversation.
so
there's already been some inside sources that said Mites might have freaked out at the end of the last game and started shotgunning a wall during the last push, so could be a
That
he's
would be
thing.
just put on an
unfortunate.
RT.
I get it. Everybody's passionate and they want to be
Yep.
competitive and win, but we all got to keep our cool at the same
Attack
time.
just eats that RT.
Just another issue with the doubleheader too, though. If that happens in the first game,
Agreed.
and choke the whole second game.
Yeah, the psychological aspect of the game can kind of get to you, weigh down on you a little bit.
Quite a psychological game, I found. A lot of players actually use that. I see it in
Agreed.
SK a lot. I see it a lot. Just the ego. Attack the ego a little bit. You get it over someone. There's a few players there. Knowing the person they just had it over is good, they'll sort of just get into him a little bit. Just get him a bit tilted.
Hey, mental's part of the game, man. It's like half the game.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yep.
The format of this game, like the UI, just with the chat and everything there, it's always been like that.
Yeah, and it's really interesting kind of concept too that doesn't really exist in most other forms of
Yeah.
gaming, where all these conversations are happening in real time. Everybody's watching the same thing. It's it's one of the better parts of the
Spectating,
game.
yeah.
That
Speaking of that, 90 people we got in here, guys. Good turnout.
really good showing. Yeah, really good showing.
Like
And
100.
yeah, kudos to everybody that's been involved in getting season 2 back up and going. I know I was MIA for a little bit, but the fact that a team of people got together to help keep it going, and we got people like Mecca and Axie and Head, volunteering to captain a squad and a team. Couldn't happen without those guys. So thank y'all so much for
All
helping out
love.
with that.
Nothing but love here.
Yep, amen.
We actually almost hit our peak total. We're at 115. The all-time peak is 116.
No
Two
kid,
people
that's
signed in.
excellent.
Yeah,
That's
two people
excellent.
signed in, please.
I waited until it was back down to 114 before I logged in, just so we didn't break it. But but going back to A5, one thing we haven't really talked about much is the defense there. I hit a little bit on GT and Plaps and kind of the great anchor they provide, but Taratanga is a very formidable infantry. He can sound a little trolly sometimes, but there's no doubt that he's a competitor. He wants to win. And he's actually a pretty good team player.
I feel like he's someone that you should just, like a bull, you just let him out the gate. He wants to lead, let him do it. Like, you just got to support him and use his strengths to your strengths, you know what I mean?
Yep, let the other players kind of adapt to his play style.
Yeah, because he's not
he's not afraid to lead also.
His weakness, let's say, is probably adapting to other people's play styles. Like, he's a bit of a tunnel vision sort of kill, which is what he's supposed to do. Like, but in terms of like, okay, my other defenders are sort of playing a bit more passive. Maybe I shouldn't lead out. But like, he struggles a little bit in that aspect. But I think that if he gets some good guys around him, they're going to be a hard defense to take down. In saying that, Axis is set up. Both MGs are red. RT's
well, right there
down.
too. Kara should have fallen a little bit and been passing.
He doesn't fall. That's the
and the engineer goes down also.
When your other or infantries are down, you can't just push. You gotta wait for it.
Did Mites get it? Mites did not get it. That was close though.
We're seeing some
close.
redemption happen.
Out there.
Doris Burke better get out of there, because see, just that positioning there caused Chompy to have to attach, die, like little things like that,
And even though there was a pretty good swing home on that defense at A5,
they still should have been able to
spent
pressure
so much
on that
time
choke.
backing up because he was out of position, not being able to summon, that their offense has lost all aspects of momentum there, and that can be a little deflating too. They just got done with the run where they get the RT down to 17, they get an MG down to to low red. They get another MG down to low green. Made some really excellent progress, and now they very quickly find themselves fighting in the streets again because the SL was out of position.
And now the base is up.
Couple notes too. Power came in for catch up, and then question for you, Ziaman. How do you feel about Chucky JT F4? Shouldn't he just be heavy at this point?
You know, that's a good point. I think most JTs, with maybe the exception of a Chucky, with the exception of like a Kev, most JTs
Okay.
have over the years kind of relied on a flagging style of JT. You know, the rare occasions I play JT, it's because I feel much more comfortable in a flag room rush flagging style. But
Right.
Chucky is pretty good at being effective at
The G9
playing a
does
style of
force you to
JT.
play in the flag room a little bit more. I've noticed
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. He's got a way of playing a like a power JT offense to where you can almost play it similar to how you would play an offense with it heavy in it, where you can focus on killing. The pushes can be slow and methodical, and then once you push down to the turrets, you can do a pretty good focus on getting some turret damage in. It looks like they've had a couple good runs in. Certainly, I think this defense has been bolstered with the Galaxy Caw and maybe a change up with debris as in there as well.
Well,
But I
they've been
certainly
turtling
think
a lot
a bit of
too.
power could help.
They've ran 6 a couple runs now, with Might
Mm.
swinging as DJT
Might
and
swinging home, and that's another thing
Fizz.
I've experienced. I'd be curious if that's taking place intentionally, or if that's just kind of Mike's doing his thing too. Because I know in mixes, Mites will kind of swing to O, swing to D, just randomly without
I
much
reckon he would have
discussion.
announced it. I don't reckon it was. I think in competitive play like this, when he knows there's stuff on the line, like the win's worth something. I don't think he'd just be pulling out his foot JT for no
That's good.
without
That's good. That's good to know.
I mean, I think foot JT in A5 is good if you
Yeah.
can get to the spot. You just have to get to the spot. It's like it's not good here, but once you get towards like flag room pressure, if you can get kind of that top left and
Yeah.
right before flag room, and you can just bounce nades,
Keep him in
it's
there.
really good. You can bounce
Just
nades
keep,
around boxes and stuff, but you got to get there is the thing.
and you can pressure the med from there. Just ricochet him in there.
Exactly.
Now I
Like
do
once Mike's
wonder,
hit here, it'll take a left.
This is going to be
Right.
big damage down here at A5.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Mike got a 3.
Karatang doing well to stay alive.
Claps is low on energy. He's in good position to dodge any, and he traded some EB, which drained him below 100 energy, allowing his MG to go down. So unless he's low on tox, I kind of question that decision a little bit. Unless he was doing the math and he said it's cheaper to replace it than to heal it. But
It might be at
that
that
was
point,
kind of an
right?
odd use of EB. It could be.
Well, I think that was really on Zloy and Jag there. They were double teaming Chompy while Axidus was just free firing. Like, I know you want the infantry kill, but
You guys
Shouldn't
have
you
heavy
give it?
mood.
standing out in the open.
Shouldn't someone be tasked with that job? Like,
You
if
should
I
be,
was a
yeah.
captain of a team, I'd be saying to one of my imps, "You're on the heavy. The other
This is
two,
gonna be
yeah.
huge here.
No.
They got an O red again here at A5.
yeah."
It's a perfect spot too.
And
Yeah,
I
see,
think
That's
that's
the
green
third one
bag.
I've seen.
another benefit. Oh man, that was
This is bad. This is
infantry's
real bad.
attempted to
They need to
push out.
swing.
They're not able to get out of that flag room. You've
They
got some
need to
slow
turtle here.
swings coming. I'm sure they're calling it. Matt, our RR user, finally shows up. Fizz with a good PB hay. It hayed multiple people, hurting some momentum. Power down, being ineffective as upon his attach.
Look at the
See,
MGs
just
now.
having Chucky and X5 on that offense, and like even if you turtle a little bit, just having Chucky on that offense, you have to have at least an inf home.
Some presence at home.
Yeah, you have to have
Because
something.
Chuck's skilled enough that 1v1 and a base 4 turrets, Chuck can still be pretty scary with
You
that.
can get out. We've all seen it.
But
Or,
I
get
agree. A
out or
little bit of a
clears
late
them.
swing, a little bit of a late swing home at A5. Wonder who's calling those shots for the swing homes. I know DT's very vocal on defense and playing that medic role. I had the fortunate advantage of playing with him last season. He's very good at keeping home updates active and consistent. So be kind of curious what caused that kind of delayed swing home. It
Well,
Plaps
you
with
have
another bad bet there.
3 really good spec infos too with Ant, Grump, and Head. One of them should be watching D. You'd think one of them would call it from the spec info spot as well.
How many spec infos did
who's-
you have last game?
2. Me and Joe.
Two. Just one watching the med, one watching the SL.
Yeah, one offense,
Who's-
one defense, essentially.
Who's Grump? Oh, that's Doc.
Doc.
Yeah. Excellent team of spec info.
I think
Yeah,
Albert
excellent
and
team.
Angelus mentioned a bit about those spec info guys that were chosen purely for the job.
Yeah.
It really
good
is
for
an
Gant for that,
underrated
'cause Gant's really
element of
good
the
at it.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you know, it makes a difference, I guess. Who's your spec info?
I know, kind of going back several years back, but back when PT was facing off against Mecca and CKY, back in
Boy.
the final championship of CTFPL, one of our main spec info providers was Rendezvous or R, and
Yeah.
it was a game changer. And I know it may not be as fun to do, but it was on point. It was accurate. It was detailed but concise, and I mean
That-
incredibly effective. Yeah, it
I'd
could
be
play such a big
interested
role.
to know who's spec infoing for Doris right now, because he needs probably the most spec info out of anyone at the moment.
I'm pretty sure it's probably DP from the looks of it. Because DP, you know, is a seasoned vet. He's ran squads. He's been offensive years.
Oh, he
so-
knows everything. Yeah.
With PT, yeah, they did. Yeah, PT won that season. Posty.
Just needs someone to just, you know, okay, push back a bit, don't get too close, you know, watch that TB. Someone in
I
his
think
ear a little bit.
I also think of all the people that are currently on spec too. I think one of the most improved players here recently, it'd probably be Jaguar. Jag spent much of his career playing squad leader.
Strongly
Prior to that, he
disagree.
dabbled with D heavy back in early 2000s for squads like Minus. But after he started kind of settling in, he played primarily squad leader. And I think with Silly Winker's advent of the dojo and the tips and advice and the training that he's provided, I think people like Jaguar and several others have really responded positively to that. And I think Jaguar is kind of an up-and-comer DM now that I think's only going to get better.
Strongly disagree. But anyway, moving on. Nah, he's all right. He's all right. We like Jag. He's good people.
Yeah, hit Jim with the shade.
You
See,
can't
I like
pump him
Jag
up too
too,
much.
Wouldn't,
Oh, terrible
wouldn't you
player.
put
He's a good
maybe-
person.
wouldn't you? Wouldn't you put Jag on SL and X5 DM? I
That's
mean,
what
I know
would've
Jag's
done.
not the greatest SL, but I think X5's DM is greater than if you're just looking at the difference there.
But now, one thing, because I do agree, I think X5, especially as COD infantry, I think is pretty effective. But I do like the fact that X5 is a pretty vocal leader on offense, which may be more of a benefit versus Jag, who may not be as comfortable taking a leadership role on offense.
Maybe
Now,
he
granted,
thinks
you,
the
That's a
like
good point.
the
you do
variation
have a lot of
between.
personalities though on
He
that
might
offense between
think that the
X5,
variation
Power,
between
RR, and Chucky.
his DIMF and X5 and Jaguar's DIMF, he might think the differential is not as great as the SL differential, you know, between the two. So
Yeah. Oh shit! Did they get cleared?
Oh, I wish I could have seen what led to that. If somebody in
okay, so
spec chat
A5's
can,
clear. There's no
Can
somebody in
defense on
spec chat,
A5.
somebody in
What
spec chat, can
happened?
you summarize what happened? I was watching F4.
Let's see, Posty said it first, so what happened?
According to
GT
Blink,
Blink
GT
died.
Blink
TB'd and got cleared. Okay,
Oh,
interesting.
no.
Happens so quick. So we go on 10 man.
I actually almost fucked that up too. Died to the
But
MG.
you can tell after the clear, it took several seconds for them to pick up the flag,
We're
putting
at 22
the
minutes.
team in a bad position at F4. So there's a lot of momentum already working the direction. They've got ORETs up.
I count
If
5 at
Claps can
home.
keep that up, that'll help them hold those boxes down there, which can be challenging to push out at F4.
Well, the thing is too about F4, it's a really hard base to hold 10-man.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
It's not easy.
You think it'd be the same as A7, but somehow it just seems a
The
bit
aiming
easier.
down, hanging up thing, yeah, it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have a different feel to it. Yeah, we do have all 4 infills in the game. We've got Axis taking a death at the choke. We got Chompy attempting to push out. Chompy probably should use more of his reps before he let
Chucky's
half team
going
get
in now. He's got one.
Yeah, Chucky's getting in. And
So, you
instead of
gotta
getting more
just stop
flags, they would
Chucky.
benefit from doing more turret damage here. That needs to be the focus and holding those boxes. You know, Zeloy's out of position. Shouldn't have pushed those boxes. Should have held back with some SG drain.
It's going to be hard to hold boxes while that RT's up there.
Agreed.
Sentry down in front. It's good sentry. I don't know. This could go either way, this 10 man.
Both of Chucky's infills are down. That's a little challenging. You got Axis, I believe, with 3
Galaxy
reps still.
holding boxes like a boss.
Oh yeah, and if he can get anybody to turn around and chase him, that would be ideal too.
They're not though. They're too
No, they're
experienced.
trapped in that flag room. I still feel they don't have quite have numbers attacking F4 just yet, but I would imagine they should be able to make it in there and get a second abort.
The RT gets Galaxy there.
Okay,
Right?
turret's
Yep,
gone.
excellent damage here. Excellent damage.
This could actually be
That's
bad
what they
for
need. We're
X's
down to the
team
final
there.
30 seconds.
I don't know where's Head's team? Seems like they should have more up. Once Chompy's out of reps, this could be scary for Exodus team though. They don't have any
It could
reds
be
up.
scary because Accidents is not going to be back for another couple seconds, giving them some room.
Chucky's coming in. They get an info ahead of them.
It's me, the last attempt rush. Chompy's down.
In the last
Axis
10
has one rep
seconds,
left.
Chucky's looming.
There's a demo pack.
No,
Gonna
he's
save
got
the
it.
demo.
Oh,
does.
running with scissors has come out and taken the second game.
Good
Well
for them.
played.
Good on
Well
them.
Well played.
played.